Hey everyone, and welcome to this coffee chat. We're heading into peak season, and let's be honest, it is not getting any easier. So I'm Lotte from nShift, and I have Greg here with me today, also from nShift, and he's here to chat about our new webinar series called Peak Season Insights, Data Experience, and Quick Wins. So hey Greg, how are you today?
Hey Lotte, hi everyone. Yeah, I'm doing great, thank you. So yeah, like you've said, we've got some really great sessions coming up. We've got 4 really short, punchy sessions that each one's designed to provide our audience with accurate data, real world strategies, and some practical tips that you can put into action straight away. So in these sessions, we've really tried to cut out all the fluff and just focus on useful insights that are there to help make this year's peak season a little less stressful and hopefully a lot more successful. So session 1 we've got is called Data to Decisions, and it's looking at tracking as the new peak. So session 1 is all about timing and data. So the question is, when does peak season really start and when does it end? You know, most people think it's November through to Christmas, which I completely get why. But if you include the spike in January for returns, then the picture starts to look a little bit different. So in that session, we'll dive into the data to show exactly where the big surges happen, both for outbound deliveries to customers and of course inbound returns. And then we'll also talk about the delivery cutoffs and capacity challenges, because those are the pinch points that can really make or break the customer experience. And something we're really excited about is also showing the regional differences that take place, because we know like the peak doesn't look the same in every market. So the patterns in the UK where I'm based, for example, are very different to Germany or the Nordics. And I think having that data in your back pocket can help retailers prepare more intelligently, rather than just assuming peak is peak everywhere. I think if you can get real data which shows you your market trends, then that's really useful information to have and to use.
Definitely. Wow, that sounds really interesting, and we do love data. So
We do.
that sounds good. Okay, so what else do you have? What's next?
Yeah, and session 2 is just as interesting. It's looking at the delivery certainty, so late cutoffs and flexibility. So this session is really focusing on keeping sales flowing for as long as possible without breaking those delivery promises that you make to your customers. So we know that one of the biggest drivers of basket abandonment during peak is uncertainty. So customers, they want to know right at that checkout, you know, will this item actually arrive on time? And the answer lies, we believe, in carrier flexibility and smarter cutoffs. So retailers who can work with multiple carriers and take advantage of later cutoff times and have those options can really keep the selling window open for longer. And of course, that then means more sales without risking late deliveries and having unhappy customers. So in that session, the focus will be to share some really practical ways to build certainty at checkout, so shoppers know exactly what their options are, whether it's next day, weekend delivery, or again, something even more flexible. We'll show how these cutoffs and expectations differ by region. As I mentioned before, what works in London may not apply in Stockholm, so flexibility really is the key. But it should be another great session.
Yeah, definitely. That really sounds like the secret sauce to success during peak.
It does indeed, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so what about session 3?
So session 3 is really now, we're then moving towards looking at innovation or delivery innovation. And the 2 trends that we want to focus on within that session is looking at lockers, sustainability, and I suppose smarter delivery as a whole. So we know that lockers are booming across Europe, and it's not hard to see why. The convenience, they cut down on failed deliveries, and they give customers flexibility to pick up parcels at a time that suits them, which, you know, in a peak period, that's like gold dust for a customer. We're seeing particularly strong growth in regions like the Nordics and Dash, where lockers are fast becoming the norm rather than the exception. So it's interesting because at the same time, shoppers, even though they're looking at these options, they are also looking for greener delivery options. And here's, I suppose, the important part of this session. It's not just about being sustainable for sustainable sake. When green options are presented clearly and when customers understand the convenience, like consolidated deliveries or locker pickups, then they can actually boost conversion. And that's a really important point for retailers. People want to feel like they're making better choices without sacrificing speed or certainty. So in that session, we'll show how lockers and greener delivery methods can work hand in hand, improving not just efficiency for retailers, but also cutting costs and giving customers the choice and transparency that they expect these days. So again, a really on-trend topic that is, across the industry is a key talk point.
Definitely. And I can surely agree to the point about lockers in the Nordics. Me being based in Denmark, I actually have a delivery to pick up at a locker later today. So there you are.
Living proof.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so session 4, and that's the last session in the series. Can you tell us a bit about that one?
Yeah, so the last session, again, we're finishing really strong. And this one is focused on quick wins at peak and cross-border opportunities. So for this one, we really wanted to focus on where we can drive those wins and how to unlock cross-border growth. So I want to give you practical tips in certain markets that we know will make a big difference. So on the quick win side, we believe it comes down to a couple of smart fulfillment tweaks. So some examples would be adopting a multi-carrier strategy, which we know helps you avoid delays if one of your network is overloaded or you need to bring in more fulfillment. Also extending delivery windows where it makes sense. That can also keep orders flowing for longer without breaking promises. Now, these two, they're just relatively simple moves that can make a big difference when capacity is tight. But in that session, we're going to talk about these small tweaks that we know can make a big difference when you're right in the thick of that peak period. So we're also going to focus in session 4 on the cross-border angle. So for retailers looking to grow internationally, then the secret really is localization. And that means tailoring your website, payment options, and delivery choices all need to feel native in each market. So you add in convenient, localized return options, and you're instantly reducing friction for new customers. So we're going to highlight some specific growth hacks for the UK, for DACH, Benelux, and the Nordics. And if you're in those regions, then I would definitely encourage you to join this session because, as I say, we're going to give some really nice insight into each of those specific areas. But the key message is that with the right strategy, you can not only survive peak season, but you can also use it as a launch pad for cross-border growth. And I think, that's a great position to be in.
Couldn't agree more. Wow, Greg, this sounds really good. And also sounds like a no-brainer if you're gearing up for Q4, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. Peak season, as we all know, it's tough. But I think if you get the right mix of data and strategy, then you can make a huge difference. And hopefully from the overview of these 4 sessions, you can see that our goal really is to make sure that retailers and brands, they can feel prepared and not be panicked in those, in that peak period.
Great. Okay, well, thanks so much for joining today and talking about these 4 webinars. So please, everyone, hit the link and sign up for one or all 4 webinars and get your team peak ready. Thank you for joining, Greg.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
See you.